She didn't mean to stare, but something about him made her pause. Maybe it was the way he kneeled to tie his little girl's shoe with gentle patience. Maybe it was the quiet exhaustion in his eyes that told her he carried the weight of 2 lives on his shoulders. Or maybe it was simply because he looked nothing like the men in her world. And that was precisely why she needed him. If you're listening right now, don't go anywhere. Because what this woman asked from a stranger should have been impossible, and yet it changed both their lives forever. And if you like stories where fate works quietly in the background, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because this one will stay with you long after it ends. Her name was Claire Dalton, a young CEO with more enemies than friends, and a reputation that came with sharp heels and even sharper expectations. Tonight was her ex-fiancé's engagement gala, an event she had sworn never to attend. But politics in the corporate world had a way of pushing people where they didn't want to go. Showing up alone while he paraded his new bride-to-be was not an option. She needed someone believable, someone kind-eyed, dependable, and safe. And that's when she saw him again, the man from earlier, standing in the hotel lobby with his daughter's tiny backpack slung over his shoulder. He was dressed simply, nothing fancy, but he held a quiet dignity Claire rarely saw in men who claimed to be gentlemen. Before she lost her nerve, she approached him. "Excuse me," she said softly. He turned, surprised, then smiled politely. "Hi, can I help you?" Claire swallowed, feeling ridiculous already. I have a strange request, and before I explain, I'm willing to compensate you. Handsomely, if needed." His brow furrowed. "Okay. My name is Claire. I have a formal event tonight, and I need someone to act as my boyfriend, just for a few hours." A startled laugh escaped him. "You're serious?" "Completely." She clasped her hands nervously. "I don't expect anything inappropriate, just presence, just support. I'll pay whatever you think is fair." He studied her carefully, then glanced at his daughter, who was now hugging his leg. "My name's Ethan Parker, and this is Lily." The little girl waved shyly. "I'm a single dad. I don't really do things like this." "I understand." Claire nodded, embarrassment rising. "I just thought, since you look trustworthy—" "That's why you picked me?" he asked, a little amused. "Yes," she said honestly. He looked at her again, truly looked, and saw something behind her polished confidence. Fear, vulnerability, loneliness she didn't want anyone to notice. "Let me drop Lily at my sister's place," he finally said. "Then we can talk." Her breath caught. "You'll help me?" He shrugged lightly. "I'm not taking your money, but I'll go." "But why?" Ethan smiled. "Because you look like someone who hasn't asked for help in a long time." Her chest tightened. 2 hours later, they walked into the shimmering ballroom together. Claire, stunning in a silver gown. Ethan, unexpectedly elegant in a suit his brother had gifted him years ago. Heads turned instantly. Phones paused mid-air. Women whispered, men narrowed their eyes, and her ex-fiancé nearly choked on his champagne. It wasn't just Ethan's appearance. It was the way he carried himself around Claire, like she was someone worth protecting, worth standing beside, worth choosing. "Who is he?" someone muttered behind them. "No idea," another whispered. "But he looks at her like she's the only one in the room." Claire felt every bit of it, the attention, the envy, the shock. But for the first time in years, it didn't suffocate her. Because Ethan leaned closer and whispered, "You okay?" She nodded, heart racing. "Yes, better than I expected." Throughout the night, he stayed by her side, not pretending, not acting, but simply being present in a way no one else in her life ever had. When her ex approached with a smug grin, Ethan's hand gently slid around her waist. Not possessive, protective. "So, Claire," her ex said loudly, "I see you brought a date." "Yes," Claire replied calmly. This is Ethan. Ethan extended a hand politely. Nice to meet you. The ex shook it reluctantly, visibly irritated. Funny, I never thought Claire had a type like you. Ethan smiled kindly, unbothered. Her type is someone who knows her worth. The room fell silent. Claire's throat tightened, and her ex walked away frustrated, his ego bruised in front of everyone. When the event finally ended, Claire and Ethan stepped outside into the cool night air. The city lights glowed softly around them. You were incredible, she whispered. I can't thank you enough. He smiled. I didn't do much. You did everything, she said, voice trembling. You stood by me. You protected me. You made me feel. She stopped, struggling. Made you feel what? Seen, she admitted. I haven't felt that in a long time. Ethan's expression softened. Claire, you don't need someone to pretend. You need someone real, someone who chooses you without being paid. She looked down, tears threatening. I didn't realize how lonely I was until tonight. I did, he said gently. The moment you walked up to me. She let out a shaky laugh. Ethan, I still owe you. I promised money. He shook his head firmly. I don't want your money. Then what do you want? She whispered. He took a breath, stepped closer, and said quietly, a chance, a real one, to know you, to see who you are when you're not pretending to be strong. Claire's heart fluttered painfully, because no one had ever asked her for something so simple, yet so priceless. Are you sure? She whispered. My world is complicated. I'm a single dad, he said with a soft grin. Complicated doesn't scare me. For the first time that night, Claire felt something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. She reached for his hand, and when he didn't pull away, she held it gently. Then, maybe I'd like to take that chance too. He smiled, warm and genuine. Good, because helping you tonight wasn't what changed everything. What did? You, he said softly. You reminded me that kindness still has a place in this world. And as they walked together under the city lights, Claire knew one thing with absolute certainty. She had offered him money, but he had given her something she didn't even know she was missing. A beginning. A priceless one.